So before we just get on to the check constraints, we'll start looking into how we can start implementing the foreign key constraints. Now you already have an idea on primary keys. Now foreign keys are just an extension of that, but the only thing is when we create foreign keys we definitely need to have primary keys. So we'll be going in a particular order. You need to just watch that order along with the way I'm testing up through the process, and then you'll start understanding the constraints. What all I was discussing with you in the rule of the theory, now we'll just go for its implementation. Now first I'll try to pick up self-relation, and after understanding the self-relation we'll go into the binary relation. And when we are working with binary relation, I'll show you how exactly on-delete set null and on-delete cascade will work. So in the first level example, I just don't want to speak about on-delete set null and on-delete cascade. So when you're dealing with self-relation, there's one very important question he'll ask you. Now let us just check out what is the kind of question that comes in and how you need to really attempt through that particular process. So here I'm just going with create table. I'm saying sample self 01, and then I'm just going with samp ID. This is number of 2, and then we are going with constraint, and we are going with the constraint name. And then we are saying PK, primary key. Then we are going with samp name, and then varchar 2 of, I'm saying 15. Then I'm going with samp date, and I'm saying date. And here we are just going with samp ID FK. So within the same table we are going for the sake of a foreign key. Then I'm just trying to say number of 2, and then we are just trying to say constraint, and we are going with the constraint name, and we are just moving down with references. This column is referencing to the same table, so the table name will come there. In this table is referencing to the column that is declared as a primary key. So that's how we declare a self relation. This is your primary key, and the same primary key is operating, the same primary key is technically operating in the same table as a foreign key. Now here I'm not using any on-delete set nulls or cascades. Okay, let us not worry about that. And then we are just completing the process. Now when we are executing this, that's your table created. Now the first question that comes from your interviewer after you say that you know how to create self-relations is, any foreign key should contain an identified primary key value or any value. Identified foreign key, identified primary key value. Means a primary key value is not registered, then definitely in the foreign key we cannot have a value. Yes or no? Now in this table we are having the primary key and the foreign key within the same table. Yes or no? So the question what he'll ask you is, after creating a self-relational table which is having a primary key and foreign key within itself, how did you insert your first record? Can you tell me? That's what he will ask you. So the first question he'll ask you is, how did you insert your first record into your self-relation table? That is what is the question that comes in. So just watch here. I'm saying suppose values. Now my value in the primary key is going as what? 1. My criteria is sample name 01, or I'll just say sample 01. Then this is my sysdate. Till these 3 columns we don't have any confusion. But this column is which column? Self-relation column. Now a self-relation column clearly says that it should have a value that is already pre-registered. But did we register any records in this table till now? No. When we did not register any records in this particular table till now, then technologically, how you will register one foreign key value is the question that arises. Sir, can't we register any value in the foreign key column which is not registered in the primary key? Definitely not. Suppose I am giving that value as 10 in my foreign key column. Do we have any records in this table previously? No. So definitely it raises one error you just watched, -2291. It clearly says parent key not found. So this is a very clear proof that within the foreign key column, we can never ever insert any data that is not registered to the primary key. If it is two different tables, no problem. Why? Because first we will insert the data into which table? Primary key table, and then we will insert the data into the foreign key table. So the binary is not a problem and he will never ask you question there. But on self he will definitely ask you, because if you have a self-relational column, then how you can insert the first record? If first record is inserted, problem is solved. The second record will take the reference of the previous record. But the first record only is the resistance here now. So that is the area where you should come up by saying that, sir, I will insert my first record as an orphan record. That's why primary key does not accept any value that is not registered into the process. Means any value that is getting duplicated. Foreign key never accepts any value that is not registered into the primary key. But remember, primary key is also not accepting nulls. Primary key is also not accepting nulls. Foreign key will always accept which value? Only the values part of the primary key. But in primary key we cannot have null, but foreign key supports a null status even though primary key doesn't support it. So foreign keys are not definitely mandatory by nature. They are kept optional. They are kept optional. Therefore, foreign keys, since they can go for optional state, the first record insertion into the self relation is possible. After this record is inserted, now the next level of the records are not difficult. Now this is my second record that is coming into the picture, and this record can always take 1 as a reference. So watch carefully, is not the previously registered value is now becoming a reference in this location now. So that's how we can always go with the foreign keys only with the values that are pre-registered to primary key. So values in primary key can be repeated or they cannot be repeated. They cannot be repeated. So whenever you are trying to work with foreign keys, you don't have anything like foreign key is cardinality of many. Foreign key is always a cardinality of many. So how many times one parental record can be used by the foreign key? Any number of times. Now currently I am having how many records in my table? 3 records. Yes or no? So I can say 1, 2 and 3. Now I am inserting my next record by taking my parental reference, as 3. So every registered primary key should definitely become a foreign key value is not a rule. My requirement will decide that. So when you deal with your foreign keys as self-relations, the first and the last question will ask is how to insert the first record. Be technically very clear about that, okay? So that's your criteria of understanding a self-relation by insert and declaration. Now there's one more construct I wanted to catch up. This is my second table, which is going to be self-relation by nature. Now I don't think there's any problem in establishing this as a self-relation. But this time we are having a constraint which is having not null. So one column can have multiple constraints. When one column is having multiple constraints, between one constraint and another constraint, we should not use any commas if it is at column level. Now, this is once again a self-relation or not? Yes or no? Yes. Now, we are just registering this table now. And now here the question will be, once again, I am saying insert into this with values. How did you insert your first record into this table? And you say not null, or say you say null, he says no, I am having a not null constraint. Then how you will insert, he will ask you. So in the previous case we were able to insert because we did not have any not null. But in this case you watch, I am going with sample 01, then I am saying sysdate. Then if I say null, it rejects. Why? Because my foreign key is saying that it cannot contain any nulls. So minus 1400 cannot insert null. Now in this case he will ask you, if your foreign key is declared with a not null constraint, then how did you insert the first record into your table? So you should always say, sir, I was inserting my first record by taking the primary key value itself as a reference. This is the best example for self-relation. Every record can relate to itself to its primary key. These are the two situations. Definitely they will ask you. Please keep that in your mind when a question is coming on to the process. And after one record insertion has been done, then I don't think the remaining number of records will be a problem by their existence, because in self-relation only the first record insertion will be typically different. All the remaining are fundamentally the same. So self-relation is a very simple policy by its implementation, remember that. Now only for your fundamental convenience, we can declare the constraint. Here foreign key was declared at which level then? Column level in both the cases, yes or no? Now, just for your convenience, I am saying this is a self-relation of 3. And I want to remove this primary key from there. And after all the columns I want to go with it. There is nothing but what? Table level. So I am saying this is my 3. And if this is your primary key, then give the column name on which your primary key goes. When declaring multiple constraints at table level, separate the constraints through comma. So here we are saying constraint name. Now we are declaring this constraint at column level or table level? Table level. When you are declaring a constraint at table level, even for foreign keys or anything, but for foreign keys, remember very carefully, we need the foreign key keyword at table level. At column level, we don't need this. We need only references. When you are declaring a foreign key constraint at table level, it definitely needs a foreign key keyword, and this foreign key is for which column? You have to specify that particular column name from that particular table. So now I am saying that this is a foreign key to this column in this table, referencing the same table with a primary key column. So this is the syntax of table level declaration. Majority of the times he will ask you the syntax to table level only, because table level to foreign key has some special kind of declaration standard which you have to adapt it. Okay, you just need to understand that. Okay, SAM ID comma. Okay, just so this is your foreign key at table level, where when you are declaring foreign key table level, you definitely need a foreign key keyword telling the columns on which that foreign key is working. So just keep that criteria very clear. Now coming to the binary relationships, if we are working. So whenever we start working with foreign keys, we definitely need what one? Primary key table. So I'm first creating a primary key table. I'm saying create table sample pk01, and then I'm going with samp id number of 2, and I'm just saying constraint, and I'm going with my constraint with samp id pk primary key. Then we are going with samp name varchar2 of 15. And I'm just going with samp name, samp date, and I'm just going to say date, and that's your master table. Now I'm saying create table sample fk01, and we are just going with samp id fk01, and then I'm just going with samp id fk, which is number of 2, and I'm just trying to say constraint name references this table. So from this table, a column is coming from another table for reference. So because of this, you can say these two tables are referenced with one another now. So this table is saying that in this column you cannot have any value that is not pre-registered into this table. That's how a binary relationship has started. Did I declare any not nulls on this foreign key column? No. So I am saying on delete, okay, we are saying set null. So we are just saying on delete set null. So what I am saying is whenever the data is deleted in the master table, make every child become what? Orphan record. So these on delete clauses are declared on foreign keys. Be very, very clear about that. And that's your first child. And then we are coming with the second child table, where you're saying this is 2 and this is 2, this is your 2, but here we are saying constraint name underscore nn not null. So now I am very clearly saying that this foreign key column cannot contain any nulls. So can I say on delete set null? No way. So this table is going to the same parental table you want. That's where we said one primary key can contain any number of foreign keys. But here we are saying on delete cascade. So you need to plan. So how I can know these concepts? That's what you have to listen to your architect and your analyst very seriously. The biggest problem you will face is you don't have patience of listening to your seniors. You can never write your logical constructs. Be very careful about that. To be a software engineer, always question yourself, when am I a good listener? Anywhere your consciousness says you're not a good listener, think twice before you coming into this industry. Exactly what is given to you should do it. Now what is the problem in this whole process? I'll tell you. Who is speaking with your client? Analyst. That analyst is speaking with whom? Not the developer directly. Speaking with whom? The designers. The designers are taking care of what? Model. And these modeling guys, they'll speak with whom? administrators, and they also deal with the architects. And finally, these administrators, they will tell the designers that, or modelers, that this work is getting completed. Then somewhere your team lead will come and he'll schedule the work for you. Means I think something called as client who said something, this has been manipulated with so many number of people, yes or no? Now finally, human beings are such kind of objects in the world. You say something like A, by the time it goes to the actual person, it becomes Z. That's where majority of the projects, they go out of the scope of the client. What client says, analyst has understood properly, no doubt. But when analyst is trying to deliver this to the next person, he has not understood that properly. From there the project goes in its own style. That's the only reason today clients are very clearly saying that we don't want this useless middle level management at any point of time, because of these people only the projects are going wrong. It's a standard that by 2025, not only IT, major number of industries, they want to eliminate the managerial positions in their companies. So then what will happen? Nothing, when systems will work very perfectly. I'm not joking, it's a fact. You wait and check. By 2025, 60 to 70% of the banking sectors will not have any managers. Then who will work? So nothing. 80% banking staff will come down by 2025. Sir, then how I should withdraw my money? How many times you are going to bank nowadays, man? Then why we need bank managers? Bank cashiers. So if I need to physically visit a bank, then also it's not a problem. 100% robotic banking is about to start. Already experimenting in India also. ICICI in Mumbai has one bank which is 0% manpower is there. Including the locker management is done by robots there. So what happens to for all these people who should get the job? Jobs are only for intelligent brains in the coming days, not for people who utilize the service. Be very clear about it, I'm telling you. Even in retail outlet stores also, you'll never have salespeople, billing clerks, floor managers. These all people will not be there. Because of those people, only cost of the product is increasing. So then if I get into my retail outlet store, I'll take some things and I'll run away from the retail outlet store. No door will open to go outside. Don't think of lifting and running now, okay? Nothing will happen because everything will be monitored and controlled. So how I need to make a purchase? Everything will be happening digitally. We are going to build a very sophisticated and wonderful robotic world by next 10 years. So are you ready for that kind of programming what the world expects from you? Else IT also goes robotic. Already, I hope you could have been hearing soft boats. Did you hear anywhere? The term, read about it. Software robots are about to come. Software robot means there is some 40 to 50% of software development which is always stereotypic. That 40% is the stereotypic area of the software implementation will be done by robots directly. So then what about the software engineers now? Become more intelligent software engineers. That's the concept. So how much you are hand coding? Depending on ready-made tools will kill your career. Remember that. So everything is by analysis, and therefore you should have clarity of listening to your client's functionality first of all. Therefore he will tell. Therefore in classrooms I may not have reason why I am declaring the on delete cascade, because I will show you what its effect is. Therefore when you get into your projects, it's definitely going to be a different kind of world in the next few years. So because of this, don't you think that we'll have great problem in job? Nothing, man. To build one intelligent system, we need 1 lakh intelligent people to write the code. To build an operational system, we need only 10,000 people for the process. So if intelligent systems are coming into the world, job opportunities will increase. Or if service-based systems are existing, job opportunities will increase. Common sense is yours. So in the coming days, an engineer should think like an engineer only. He cannot think in any other way. So, how much you can understand by the rule is important, not the language is important now. Understand this. So, when your client tells you, that's what I said, you should know how to replace these tables and columns according to your project. Now that's your project, you should know about that. So, this is my parent, these are the two childs we have, and in one child we are saying adjust to orphan state, in another child we are saying that when parent gets deleted, you also get deleted. So, this makes what now? This makes automation in the process of my delete management. So just watch it, that's my first table that's created, and there's a second table I'm pushing in, and there's a third table. We are trying to keep it into the process now. Now we need to understand this process, we need some test data. So I'm pushing my test data now. We need quite a number of records. So those are the parental records what we want to manage. So now I just want to go with my child record management. So picking up my first child. That's my data for the first child table. Now in this particular table we are picking up so I'm registering my test data now. That's all with respect to your parent, and this is with respect to your first child table, and this is with respect to your second child table. So now we have quite an amount of data for testing. Now just to show you, this is the data for the parent, this is the data for the first child table, and this is the data for the second child table. Now we watch, all the parental data is used by the child's one? No. Certain records are never used. 8 is not used, 3 is not used, yes or no? So every value of the parent should be used by the child is not a rule. But every value in the child table is part of the parent or not? Yes. Second thing is, both the child should use the data in the same way from the parent is not a rule. According to its business, they will use. Okay. So try to understand these particular factors very clearly. Now once your data is here, now our interest is only to understand the on-delete sentinels and cascades now. So watch carefully. I am saying delete from my parent. Now we already said in yesterday's class that technologically whenever we are working, child deletion has no effect to the parent, but parent, when it's being deleted with a value only, the problem arises. So I'm just trying to say where SAMP ID is equal to, I'm saying 8. Now 8 is a dependent parent or independent parent? Independent parent, so no effect, no, immediately it gets deleted. And you can always see that you got your parental records definitely applied with the deletion. Now I'm calling my delete once again on the parent. Watch carefully. But this time what I am doing is, I'll remove one. Okay. Now one is in both the tables or only one table? Only one table. Which table? The first child. And first child is working on which rule? On delete set null. Is working on set null, means become orphan records. Yes or no? Now currently I am having how many number of childs referring to that parent? 3. Now watch carefully, I am deleting my data only from which table? Parent table. Did I touch my child table anyway? No. So it says one record is deleted, and definitely that record is lost. What you can see from this select statement, you can see from the select statement the record is lost. But was it stopping you like yesterday -20 to 92 parent key is, sorry, child keys are found? I don't think it's saying that. It just did the job automatically. Means it automatically understood that there is a child table, and in that child table how many records are there calculated, and immediately it started eliminating those records by adjusting them with what? Nulls, and then the job is completed. So what is the proof? The proof is these 3 records became automatically orphan records. So now my process is becoming automated by the interdependency or not. Now not only that, we are just trying to delete the data once again. We are deleting the data once again. I am deleting my record by 2. Okay. Now 2 is only found in second, and my second child is in which particular statement? On delete cascade. Cascade says what? Delete the child and then delete the parent. So here how many childs am I having? 3. Total records in this table are? Total records in this table are 8. So now you just watch carefully. It says one record deleted. This parental record is deleted. Nobody can deny that. You can just have a cross reference here and then go and cross check the child here automatically cascade gets implemented, which means that definitely the child records have been deleted. So even if you're having this cascade for million records, all million records are gone or not, therefore be careful when your senior is trying to tell you these rules, you have to keep these rules very properly by analyzing. And discuss these rules with the middle layer programmers in your PLSQL or any other language, and also the front-end developers who are developing technology of presentation for this particular language. If proper discussions are not, that's where an SQL developer should know other technologies is not a rule. Other technology people should understand SQL definitely is a rule. If a Java developer is there, if he is an application side Java developer, he should have at least 40% knowledge of the database. Else his career will get into problem at later stages. Initially it is not necessary. That's what generally few times students come and ask me like, sir, my friend told me that this is not necessary. Your friend has how much experience? I ask him immediately. So it's just 2 years in the companies. 2 years means he has never understood what he is first of all. What suggestion he can give you? And second thing is your friend is working in which area of the IT. IT is a very vast area, man. Your friend is where? That's very important. He is working in the company doesn't mean that he knows everything. It's not to undermine anybody. But understand your IT industry seriously and come. That too in a country where 80% of the time we are service engineers. What best we will understand about IT, tell me? So when you are speaking, you have to speak with implementation engineers. If your friend is working in a product-based company, implementation-based company, and what is project? Take suggestions properly by moving them. That's where this is not, that is not. Who is saying man? These companies are coming and saying that. No. You and your friends are deciding those things. Who are you to decide what my company should use or what my company should not use? That's where half the way we always have a problem in our careers, in our systems. So, even if I am not discussing the architecture of my database with my developers, it's not a problem for me. Because they have to program on my architecture. They should understand my architecture. So, they should discuss with me. So, this is a mutual coordination based activity. For majority of the service projects you go, you will have one big headache. Who developed the code, you don't know. How many times that code is repaired by how many people, you don't know. Why that code was repaired and why that code was adjusted and corrected in how many number of times, why, no reasons. Suddenly one fine morning, you will get one mail from your senior saying that this change is expected. Mail is only 2 lines. And you think that, oh, what 2 lines mail means? Minimum 2 minutes is my work now. You'll open the code and after that your headache will start. Because you make some change, what is expecting here, immediately something stops working. And those people will come and say, kya kar diya, pura kaam nahi kar raha. Then they say, like, they told me to do this, I did. No, you cannot do that, man, because if you do that, our program will not work. No, then what I should do? Understand how my program should work if you do that change now. Now, that my senior did not tell me, that is your headache now. Now you go there. You have to understand all that now. And you understand that you make change here, that is corrected. When that is corrected, something else will not work now. And those people will come and say, tu kya kar diya? Finally, you will understand the 2-line code has made you to work for the whole project continuously. Be careful. In this process, your work could be SQL side. When you made maintenance in SQL, the middle layer PLSQL stops functioning. The PLSQL code is corrected. Somewhere the Java code gets hit. The Java is corrected. Some JavaScript will be in problem. And all this is problem. Front end will not work. Then finally you will come to a conclusion. Finally, what I should know now? In service sector, you should know everything. At least you should know that impact analysis. The person who deleted this record, what is his psychological status, man? Only one record is deleted. but internally 3 records are already deleted. Imagine one primary key can have foreign key in multiple tables or one table now. Multiple tables. And your primary key is having foreign key in, suppose say like some 250 tables. Each table is having some million records. Average every parent is having 10% of the dependency on those million records now. You deleted one parent. Automatically in 250 tables, how many number of childs became nulls and how many number of childs are already deleted, you may not be knowing. So, when this concept is applied, if we don't discuss with the programmers what exactly on delete, set null and cascade will do. Imagine opening some master form, the end user selected one record and pressed the delete button. After that, from other departments, people are saying that some data is not visible for us now. The auditing levels, data management levels, is all things who will management. Therefore, sitting in the class, we execute a command. Sitting in the industry, we are applying that in the process to give a solution to the problem. Don't forget that. So how many times you're developing that problem to solution approach along with that impact it creates while you're doing these things. So sir, I can create one table with primary key, foreign key. Don't tell that story to us. If you have learned Oracle, you have to create that. So be aware of that impacts. Now, let us watch one more case. I am now going with my delete once again. Now in this delete I am saying 4. Now 4 is a common child in both the tables or not? Yes. In one it is what? Cascade. In the other it is what? Set null. I am deleting that parent. It affects absolutely by the rule wherever it should go for the sake of the cascade it goes for cascade. Wherever it should go for the sake of set null it goes. The 4 is lost. Call the child tables now. The first child table has 3 more orphan records. And the second child is saying that my count to the number of records has decreased by another 3. So who says that one foreign key should have with all the tables only set null or only cascade? These are called as transactional restricting rules. They are called as transaction restricting rules or manipulation restricting rules. What are your transaction restricting rules in your project? Who will tell these rules? Who will tell these rules? Your analyst should ask the client, then the client will tell, else how the client knows. So when client says that in this department, in this particular situation, I can remove the old records. Then you cannot immediately think that removing old records, delete statement likhna hai. Anybody will write now. And you have written and given, and after writing that, million records are gone. Client will tell you, if you don't get back those million records, I will hang your whole family now. Because data is important for him, not your work. So, as an analyst, your analyst should ask him, sir, when you delete this data, do you have any interrelated data in your business that also you are expecting to be deleted or that should be adjusted? That you should ask how he knows. Then the client will tell, okay man, that is a process level discussion. Now immediately I cannot tell you. I'll call all the different departments in my company. Those managers will come. And this data, it is affecting in how many different departments, I'll make them sit and we'll have a discussion among this. Whatever each level process manager tells, according to that, you please do it. You never asked them. You came off, you designed the code, delete was applied. Then later on you say, client that, sir, you did not tell me. Client says, why I should tell you? You are developing the project. Impact analysis is your job, not my job. Nowhere client will be wrong. Because as a software engineer, you only should understand those relations. You should make him remember. You should make him remember. Therefore, as a software developer, first you should have clarity when you do insert, how it affects that area plus other areas. When you do one delete, how it affects that particular area and the other areas. That questioning is your responsibility, not the client's responsibility. The reason client says what? Come openly and take the requirements. When client gave you an opportunity for taking requirements, not asking requirements properly is your problem. So, there is a great lot of difference between sitting and dreaming about software industry in Amirpet market and coming and working there. So, keep your dream, but make it alive by understanding responsibilities, I am telling you. So, are you a developer by responsibility or not? Therefore, declaring foreign keys, how much time it took me? Because we are discussing, it was some extra amount of time. Else, I don't think there is any great time to declare a foreign key. Now, finally, before we just leave this process and go to the next level of the constraints, I am just trying to say this is CPK1, where I want to keep it a composite primary key, and composites always go to table level. We know very well about that. So we are saying CPK1, and this is a primary key with SAMP ID, comma SAMP name. So these two columns, I just want to make them go through the constraint. Now, if it is a say like primary key with composite state, then definitely foreign key also should be on composite by nature. So I just want to make a declaration of that. So I am saying CFK. Now that primary key will continue as it is. Now I just want to make one more column here. SAMP name. Okay, that name can be anything. SAMP name FK, which is varchar 2 of 15. So these two columns together, I want them to be foreign key. So constraint sample CFK01 SAMP ID name FK references this table. Are you catching me? Now the name is CPK. What are the columns now? SAMP ID, SAMP name. But this is referencing to these two columns in that table. But which columns are referencing? That's the only reason we should say foreign key. So this foreign key keyword tells which columns from this table are going for what? Reference. So when you are declaring a composite, definitely you should declare that at a table level, telling the foreign key keyword from this table which columns are moving for foreign key, and they are moving for which table which is having the same status to composite primary key status. So here two columns, there also two columns. On delete set null rules are same. I may not be keeping it, but just to tell you the rules are same. So you're just creating your first level parental table here, and then you're going with the criteria and composition of your child table there. Okay, that constraint name cannot be duplicated. So just watch here. Okay, that's a very clear proof that no two constraints can have the same name within that user. So once you have made a correction to the constraint name, the table is clear. So the total process of two classes what we discussed in foreign keys is just so simple. Okay, generally you may have students who think like, if we could have done this directly, so those two classes could have been saved. Okay, now what should be saved, what should not be saved, I will take that particular issue and you don't need to consider about that. So before I discuss anything, I will decide what's the preparation stage for that. So that was conceptual and this was practical. So putting your effort into the process and picking up your primary keys and foreign keys is your job now. And I am ready for my last level conclusions. That's nothing but with check constraints. So check constraints are not immediately important, but let us just finalize them here itself, where it's part of the rule of the constraints. So let's see what's waiting for tomorrow's session to pick up through the rule of check constraints seriously.